Hi, Grandma Debbie here. All right, so tonight we're making In-N-Out double hamburger. Do you have an In-N-Out where you live? We have a few here, and for the most part, I like their food. I'm not a fan of their French fries. When I first tried them, it tasted like styrofoam to me. Then I was told that I had to order them well done. So once I started ordering them well done, they came a little crispier, and I like that. But I do enjoy their hamburgers. They're very good. Usually when I go and order them, I only get the single burger. But today we're doing the double. And my husband and I are going to be splitting this hamburger in half because it's just too big for just one person. But it will be fun to make. So you can make as many of these as you want. Just double, triple, however many you need to do, you can make those. But it's a delicious hamburger, and we're going to get started. And I'm going to bring you along with me. Let's get going. Okay, so on this hamburger, you're using a regular size hamburger bun. Now, I have this in the freezer, and so I got it out, and it's been sitting here. But we're just using one bun because we're just doing one burger. Then we're going to be doing some lettuce. So I'm just going to get the lettuce ready. And once again, because we're only doing one hamburger, I'm not going to get a lot of lettuce because, once again, we're just doing one. So that should be plenty of lettuce. Then we're going to slice up a tomato. Now, I really, truly wanted a big, what do you call them, beefsteak tomato. But at our store, they didn't have any. They had Romas, and then they had vine ripened. And these are vine ripened. And normally I would have just picked up a Roma tomato, but they looked really horrible, so I wasn't going to do that. All right, so we got that done. We are going to be adding cheese. We're using cheddar cheese, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be using. Okay, so it calls for Thousand Island dressing, so I'm just using Wishbone, but you use whatever brand you have. That was the cheapest at the store. We don't generally get this, but except for hamburgers, so I don't really care what brand. And then this was also on sale, so I'm using Tillamook cheese. It calls for cheddar cheese, so that's what I'm going to be using. I sliced up some onions earlier in the week, so we are going to be sauteing these to go on the burger. And now we're going to measure out our hamburger. Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for is I need 5 ounces of hamburger. I should say 5 3/4. I am going to cook up the rest of this. This is what I need right now. So then I'm going to take this off. Move this. And then we're going to form 2 hamburger patties with this. So they're not going to be super thick. They're going to be kind of thin. Just going to cut it in the middle. All right. So we're just going to form flat patties that need to be a little bit bigger than the hamburger bun. Now, when we put them in the skillet to cook them, that's when we're going to season them. So I'm going to go ahead and make up the rest of the hamburger into hamburger patties. And because I'm going to go ahead and cook all of it, it needs to be cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to get going on the cooking part. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to toast our bun. Come on. Didn't want to work with me. So I'm just going to get this on there until it's toasted. Then we're going to start cooking our onions. So I've got a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to, whoops, guess I need to open it. Got a little bit of olive oil in there. And I'm going to add the onions. And I'm just going to cook these down until they are soft. Now this usually takes a little bit of time, but that's okay. I love caramelized onions. And then once the bun is toasted, then we're going to start our hamburger. You could add a little bit of butter if you wanted. And you know what? I think I might just do that because why not? It'll toast up better if that's what we're doing. Now I'm using a sweet white onion because I had used this in a recipe earlier in the week. And these are leftover onions, so I just figured that I would just go ahead and use them up. They smell wonderful, don't they? Oh, no, you can't tell. Listen to me ask you. Does it smell good? What do you think? Ooh, that one toasted up really nice. All right. That one needs to cook for a few more seconds. Yeah, that's good. All right, I'm going to get the hamburgers. Now I'm going to cook the hamburgers low and slow so that they don't make a huge mess in the kitchen. If you have a grill, whoops, by all means, go outside and cook it outside. And I do have a grill. I've cooked several things outside. It's just a little warm out there today to me. So I made the executive decision to not go outside and cook them. So I'm going to turn this down just a tad bit more. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Now, while the hamburger only calls for 2 patties, and I just wanted to cook up the rest of the meat, so that's why I did this. And then we'll just eat probably the patties by themselves. Whoa, I got onions going everywhere. And you know what? I think I might switch to a larger skillet. Because until these cook down, well, maybe not. I'll just leave them. They'll cook down. Now, we like our hamburgers well done. So I'm going to cook this until it's well done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more salt and pepper. Okay, so I turned the onions off because I believe that they are done. I mean, look at them. They look delicious. They smell wonderful. And I only had a couple of runaways. The burgers are pretty much done as well. I do need to put some cheese on them. Uh, um, if you go to In-N-Out, they have a multitude of types of burgers that you can get. You can do a single, double. I don't even know how many patties you can actually get. They also have an animal. I think it's called an animal. It's where it comes on lettuce as your bun. And then also, if you go through the drive-thru and you have your dog with you, you can order a hamburger for your dog, and it's just a patty that they give you. But I thought that was really kind of fun. So I used to have a coworker who would take her dog there all the time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the cheese. So I just want the cheese to start melting just a little bit. All right, this one here is melting. Go ahead and let it continue. Okay, so we're going to assemble. Whoops. Throwing stuff around the kitchen. All right, we're going to assemble our burger. So we're going to start off with, on the heel, we're going to put a little bit of the dressing. You can add as much as you want. I'm going to spread it around a little bit. Okay, then we're going to add a tomato. And then we're going to do the lettuce. Okay, and then we're going to get the onions and we're going to put the onions on. So we're going to add some of the onions. Don't they smell wonderful? All right, so we got that. And then we're going to add 2 patties. Now, as I said, my husband and I are going to be sharing this because, as you can tell, it's ginormous. Whoa, everything is sliding off. Okay, so I'm going to just squish it down a little bit, but here's the finished product. Isn't that huge? All right, so I'm going to cut it in half, and that's what we're going to have. We're going to enjoy it with some potato salad. So I just want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I hope that you're having an amazing day and everything's going really well for you. Hit that like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button, and give this burger a try. You don't have to make it as big as I did. You can scale it back if you want, or you can make it bigger. It's up to you. You do whatever you want. A recipe's just a guide. Make it your own. All right, well, I will be talking to you soon. Bye.